Hello guys, this is Engineer Waqas Ahmed, and today's session I'm going to help you to understand supporting things about CPM which we have discussed in our previous session. So in today's session, things which you need to understand in details and which are supporting, right? So first thing I'm going to share with you contractual milestones when we are going to make our critical path method, how contractual milestones can impact on our project schedule. The second most important thing, application of constraints can change the logic. Sometimes dates are not as per our requirement or as per our wish, right? So we need to implement some kind of constraints, and then how to develop critical path method layout. That is very simple method, but we need to understand. Then total float and free float, how to analyze what is the construction industry requirement as per the standards. Difference between longest path and critical path, it's very important to understand, right? And working days versus calendar days. So let's start discussing about contractual milestones. I will be sharing Primavera P6 dashboard right now that we have compiled so far our project schedule. In this schedule, we have only project start milestone, finish milestone. But when we will get into the details of our project contract, might be possible our client has mentioned different kind of milestones like which are relevant to design phase, procurement phase, construction phase, right? So these are the obligations as per the instructions of client. Apart from project start and project finish milestones, we need to add such kind of milestones which are putting some conditions, right, assumptions and bases. So let's start and adding those milestones. Let's say within this WBS, we can add over here two activities. One is for design, and it is, let's assume that it is MEP, design oriented contractual milestone. And then the second one is any milestone which is relevant to procurement, something like you can say that PSB valve or something like that, right? Or you can write here construction, anything, right? And storage tank foundation, storage tank foundation. So now I have to consult with my contract what is the narrative of client, what are the instructions of client regarding these milestones. But first of all, we need to convert these two activities into milestone. That is very simple thing. I have to click over here into the activity details, then general, and I can find here activity start milestone, right? And then the same thing into the start milestone. Okay, so these are converted. So like this, you can add like 50 more milestones, doesn't matter. So these are very important, steps you need to follow. So the second most important thing, you have to link these milestones with their relevant work packages for what we have, the reason behind the creation of these milestones, like design MEP, maybe there is a condition, there is a contractual milestones. So we need to go into the relationships, and within the successor window we have to find it out. Okay, within over here assign button, and I can find here within the EDDR there is MEP, and just 1 minute. Yes, over here, let's say MEP and electrical is same thing, right? And I just want to, okay, start to start. And the second one is construction storage tank foundation. And in the successor, I have to, this is actually about the construction phase. Within construction phase, I have to find it out over here. So these are created by, see, this is our, you can say storage tank, right? And I can just make like this one. Okay. So that is done actually. But now at the same times, I'm going to teach you people that how we can understand the application of constraint. Let's say I'm I will get into the status window. Here is constraint, right? So there are different kind of constraints. There are start constraints, there are finishing constraints. Within these constraints, there are two categories: soft constraint and hard constraint. Soft constraint, if something like start on or after, it is very polite. But if I'm using mandatory start, it is not polite, it is not easy, it is mandatory. So this would be labeled as hard constraints. A lot of recruiters and managers in job interview, they are going to ask you such kind of questions. So I would be like mandatory start, something like that, and I'm going to say, but like now I'm going to dictate my project schedule as per my strategy. That design of mep should be started something like not on 1st of October, because my team is not available. So on 30th of October the team will be available. So something like that. Now you will be observing that MEP design, which was earlier starting from 1st of October, like in electrical, you can see over here, it's starting from 30th of October because it is directly linked with that one. If I'm going to change the date over here, let's say 20th of October, you can see this is 20, right? You understand? You understand what I mean? So that is how it is going to react. So the second contractual milestone is storage tank. Might be possible there is a land acquisition problem. So my team is going to define that whenever project is going to start, might be possible there is approach road, there is access to that site area is not possible as soon as possible, like 1st of October. So we need some time. So they can make like mandatory start or something like 24th October is the date they are going to decide, something like that. See, so that is how it is going to make start storage tank at the same. See over here, storage tank, layout and marking, 24th of October, right? I think we have connected this one. Just wait a moment. Within relationships, I will see the second one. For here, go to 11th of December. So here, excavation. So just wait. It is not actually 24th of October. And what is the milestone over here? Within status, mandatory start 24th of October. And here, okay. Within relationship, go to and 11th of December, because layout and marking is already linked with multiple predecessors. So these are the priorities, like construction, storage tank. This is the milestone, right? And then there is approval. Approval is the second thing, like after the foundation. You can see, you can understand from here why it is following 11th of December, because now this was already done, that our design would be done, then we are going to start that activity. That is why it is taking picking up that date. So we need to remove that date and should follow the project start milestone, right? So I can go and I can see over here, go to approval, remove, and now it will be starting 24th of October, because now there was a priority. Earlier the date was, this activity was linked with the construction, structural design. Okay, that structural design will be done, then this storage tank foundation will be started, but now it is removed and now it will be directly start following the milestones. That is the philosophy of milestones, right? Now, one more thing. We have linked our project start milestone with multiple things. Let's say my QAQC, this is doc 1000, right? So where is doc 1000? I will just make like this. This is doc 1000, but I'm not able to start this report as soon as my project is going to start. So both activities are going to start at the same time. If I'm going to add 10 over here, what it is going to push 10 days ahead, like you know this is 1st of October. You can see right now QAQC report. This is QAQC report start to start status, right? Dog 1000. This is right. So if I'm going to put 10, it is pushing 10 days ahead. Something. See? 15th of October. If I'm going to write here 12, 17th. If I'm going to write here 20, something like that, right? You understand what I mean? So that is how you can use your mind, and you can adjust these dates by using these smart tips and tricks. You want to make this date as per your requirement, like this one, and you can see project start milestone is dictating or guiding start to start. You can add over here 10. See, you can take the as per required date. Sometime logic is not giving you by math, you are not getting on that point, right? So that is how you can get your by creating different kind of milestones, or using your overlapping techniques, it is going to get you that required or closer to that date. And you can by hit and trial method, or sometime you need more practice and you will get on that point, right? So that is what you need to understand. By creating contractual milestones, what is actually inside this tips and tricks? It's all supporting you to create your project schedule and get those dates as per your requirements, right? So after this, yes, constraints. After this application of constraints, yes, there is a big range of constraints. Finishing milestones, if you want to, directly, if you are going to put any constraint like this one, right? It is not good for CPM, and there is a limit of application of constraint. You can't put constraints all over your project schedule. You have a limit of 5%, 10%, something like that, or some contractual milestone. Like this is the best way. If you are going to put milestone on this activity, it's not good, because it is going to make your critical path method unrealistic, right? So I have already shown you how to implement constraints. If you want to remove it, the same way, you can go on your activity details, go into status, and here you can just click and none. That is the removal of constraints, right? So milestones should be implemented on your constraints should be implemented on your milestones. Now that's what you have understood already. Milestones with SS links, milestones that you need to understand how to, the way I have just explained earlier, to explain these dates with start to start and putting some days in the lag column, right? So that is what I have explained already. So now critical path method layout. I will be sharing with you people. You have to go into view. It's a very important thing. And then column area. Here you can find early start, early finish, late start, early start. Okay. And make like this one, early finish, late start, late finish, and then total float. That's what we have sorted out in our simulator sheet. Okay, within general, or if you can't find, control F, and here is float, right? There is free float, there is total float, and I can get over here. This is late start, late finish. It should be late finish. I should exclude it, and this is late finish. Total float should be just after activity name, apply, and that's it. And after this is your same Excel sheet, right? So you can see that there is a total float, there is a BL1 start, BL1 finish, early start, early finish, late start, late finish, and original duration as well. Original duration is something important, and yes, it was already part of our project dashboard, right? You can go into view and you can make layout, save layout as CPM, and save it, and then you can switch between your basic and CPM whenever you need to analyze it. But here is the important thing I want to share with you people, that in job interviews, a lot of recruiters are going to ask you that what is the safe limit of your total float whenever we are going to develop any project schedule. Like you can see right now, there is a project float of 160, there is 170, 180, and you can see big float over there, total float. So, what is the range of total float? What is the acceptable range? The acceptable range of total float should be 10 to 20% of your project duration. 10 to 20%. Right now, if you can see that your project is 322, so 10% of 322 is 32 days, whereas 20% is 64. So your project total float should not exceed than 64 or 60 days. If there is something like that, we need to fix it and we need to analyze it. I will teach you how to analyze it. We need to catch driver activity. What does mean by driver activity? Driver activity is something like this is started. So how we can get on this approval? Approval will be done once client is going to review. Client will be review before that internal review will be done. Before that drafting will be done. Before that this activity. So this activity is the driver activity. So first of all, I need to implement actually. I need to see this is my you can see that I will get back to my, you know, you can see I need to exclude few columns so that I can have a easy view, something like that. Baseline start. Okay. I need only keep total float because I want to reduce it. Okay. So I will help you to understand this one. So this is carrying big float, total float. But why? Because you can see right now, okay, here 159, I will just make it like this way. And I can see in the activity details, in the relationships, and approval is 1010, right? Drafting, this approval, D10. Okay. Actually, we need to make this relationship, this 159. Whenever you are aiming or targeting to reduce this total float, you need to do only two things. Either you change this activity relationship, or you need to change the duration. Duration is all sorted out, no problem, but we need to find it out where it is connected. This approval is connected with this activity, so I can jump on this activity. And yes, so I have to find it out because my structural drawing approval will be done, and then this document should be, see this document. But before that, I should see that my, this, I will, just 1 minute. I have to see carefully that start, it is derived by, 1 minute. Okay. This one, I will make you understand by this way. I have to remove this relationship. I have to re-strategize. See, now it is enhanced. So, and this is also, I need to remove these relationships because these were only because in project scheduling, no activity should be kept like open-ended, right? So I have to just make some relationships, but making relationship like this way is creating high float. So I need to make it, I need to close it with more realistic activities. So I will be approval, and after that, this my designing, like where is my designing activity? Any activity I can, like if my documentation is going to end up, and then if I'm going to approve it, something like that, this approval doc 1025 was with this one, right? But now, because this contractual, you can see these contractual milestones are important, they are going to create some big floats. So right now I just want to remove them, just to make you understand another scenario, right? This one remove. I will get back to the same situation. Remove. Okay, this is removed, and I will get, okay. Now I will link this activity, because if activity is open ended like this one, approval have no successor activity, then it is going to create a big float the same way. But I am going to suppose that approval should be linked with my this, for example, like this one. When approval is going to finish, then it is going to finish to finish, right? Again, it is having big float, right? So I need to remove it. Okay. And I should make it with the, you can see over here. Yes, that is the only option I have. So just wait a moment because it's time taking. I'm not doing it in hurry because it's, yes, approval, this one, assign, and here we are. I will go for this one, right? Approval. We will go, no problem. Is this approval? Assign. Let's see what happened. We are going to assume that this structural drawing last activity, when designed for structural drawing is going to end up, at that time all the PDDR documents should also be approved. That is the priority, right? Finish to finish, make it finish to finish, and then later on we can sort it out, right? That was already done actually, but I'm just going to show you people that what is the purpose of doing it again, to just show you that it was already done, but I'm doing undo it and performing it again. And here we are, like this is our, this approval. Okay. Now this activity is linked with this activity is also, if I'm going to reduce the total float of this activity, it will automatically impact on this one because this is the, successor. So approval. This is link up, structural drawing is layout and marking. And I can see that, see this activity already having big float, total float. Okay, that's, then we can see that is what I got it. This is open-ended diesel tank, right? So I need to link up this activity with something. So diesel tank foundation is not connected further. So I need to go here, diesel tank. Storage tank is sorted, but diesel tank not. Here, diesel tank should be connected with here, my friend, M1088. So I'm going to assign M1088. You understand what I just, if anything is missing, see, finish to start, right? And then this activity should be, okay. Then this activity, the same way, actually in our project, we have done for the storage tank, but not with the diesel tank. So that is what actually we are doing right now. Then for erection of bottom should be with the foundation, the same concept I have made you understand. Okay. So here we are going to find out in civil that diesel tank foundation, right? Where is diesel tank foundation? Diesel tank foundation is here. It should be done. Then sand blasting should be done. Sand blasting is actually carrying M1106 directly. I can. So see, now you can see that float, total float. Where is total float? See, it's reduced. If you are going to connect your activities with, proper way, no open-ended activities, my friend. If everything is sorted out, your total float will be controlled. You can see right now your total float of these things, 12 days, before it was 180 days. You have to work on it one by one. The logic here, Primavera P6 is offering you very best way. Every activity, this is the work package. Make it thumb rule. Every activity is interlinked with each other, right? The last activity is interlinked with the next WBS. You never know, maybe this one, maybe another one, right? So you just click on this one. Here we have an option, go to. If you find out which activity, this one D1010 is not here, so simply you can go here, you can find, maybe you will be confused, go to. This go to option will take you on this activity. You understand? And now you want to see that approval D1010 where it is connected. You can see these three successors, right? So any one of them you can click and go to. It will take you on pipe rack B, something. Still, this is 252. You need to track the same thumb rule that where it is open-ended. See, this is not open-ended. I'm going to shift. This is Okay. See, painting. Here it is open ended, my friend. You need to close it. You need to close it. Then it will be reduced. You understand? Erection is done. You need to close it. You need to make it like with the electrical. Let's say this one. Let's say for example, and you can see it is reduced, not that much. Now you have to work on it, like it is showing you one more time. You can see this sand blasting is also connected with the shifting, but there is a gap because there are two predecessors. One is coming from here and one is coming from here. So this is actually dictating is this is there is a free float over here. So you need to make re-strategize it. So these are the steps which are going to help you. It is not something like, it is also enhancing your days. So somehow you have to come back to 365 days. So you have 35 plus 17, 52 days. You have to make, schedule, you have to filter out like what is my critical path method. This is your critical. It is going to give you critical path method only, because if you are going to reduce your duration on the critical path method, that is going to reduce your project duration. I need to make it on 365 days. So if I'm going to make it something like this is only critical path method over here. I just want to make it, I want to see only see, if I want make it 10. This is crashing actually. I'm supposed to reduce my duration. This is 10. And now you can see my days 406. I'm reducing it. And then you can see here, I just want to make it 5. In doing so, maybe your critical path will become non-critical, and your non-critical path, if you are doing reduction or schedule compression techniques on your non-critical path, remember one thing, that total float is already there and it is not going to change your project duration. Believe me, right now you can document it that I'm doing the same step on red color activities and it is impacting on my project schedule, and 6 days, something like that. Over here 4 days I can make my, see, 40387. But if I can remove my total float, apply, and I can change something like there 40, right? I can make it like 30. Nothing will happen. 387, nothing is happened. Why? Because there is already total float. So you always have to implement your schedule compression techniques on critical path, not on non-critical path. Remember, this is going to be asked in your job interview as well, right? So that is the total float. Free float. Total float, I have already shown you that total float is relevant to the series of activities. Like this is an activity on non-critical path, this is an activity on non-critical path, this is an activity on non-critical path. So they are actually having total float of 15 days. Now this total float is amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying project end time, right? But why we call it total float? Because this is also the property of this activity, this activity, this activity. I cannot relate it to the single activity. Maybe 5 days I can delay it, 5 days I can delay it, 5 days, 2 days. It depends on the strategy. But this is property of all the activities on that path. Whereas free float is something else. This is the single property of that single activity. Amount of time an activity can be, like I will give you an example. Uh, there are two predecessors like this one. This predecessor will be end up on 10th of October, and this predecessor will be end up on 20th of October. The next predecessor will start the same like 21st of date month, right? So now this is the free float, 10 days. Why? Because this activity can be started on 10th of month or 15th of month, not 15th. Yes, it will end up on 10th of the month, it will end up on the 20th of month, and this is the starting date. If I'm going to, this is going to start from first. If I'm going to delay it, like I'm going to start it 5th of the month, I will end up 15. Still, we have 5 days to go because this activity have to start 20. So free float is actually property of a single activity. Amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying its successor activity starting date, early start date, right? You understand what I mean? That is free float. Okay. So these are important things you need to understand. Now, the next level thing you need to understand, CPM and longest path. This is very technical thing going to happen. I have already instructed my students when we are going to create new project file that we are not supposed to create any finish date when we are creating project, file. You understand? You remember that? Finish date. So now I'm going to explain you. Once you are going to make your open-ended project, open-end project means you are not going to define any finish date of your project, and you have flexibility of your project critical path method. When you keep the way like this one, you are not having any finish date. Primavera P6 is going to find out one critical path by its assessment that which one is the longest path. That is how it is going to work, right? This is called forward path critical path method. You understand what I mean? When you don't give any finish date to your project file and you put all the scope of work within your Primavera P6, right? And you link up your activities, you give duration. Now this is Primavera P6 duty to find out that critical path method and going to give you that certain date. That is the critical path method. Okay. Now, a lot of recruiters are going to confuse you. What is the difference between critical path method and what is the difference between longest path? Because if I can take you in the filter area, you can find here critical path method and you can find here longest path. So now, if I will let you know that if you can click on enterprise project and within project, you can go and you can find any project like this way, must finish by. If you are going to implement this constraint that my project should be finished by this date. So every path which is going to meet this, date, that would be automatically labeled as critical path, right? So how Primavera P6 critical path method definition is something else. Like if there is one path like this one path is like this one path is like this one, and one is like this one, right? So Primavera P6 is by its default assessment. Primavera P6 is finding out that this is the longest path and this is the critical path because this is the longest path. You understand what I mean? That is the simple way. I will explain it again. Let's say one Primavera P6. In previous session we have already understood that one, that how Primavera P6 is assessing that, right? But again, if these are the, this is the activity, then this is the activity, this is one path, then this one, then this one, then this 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 is the ultimate thing. So from here Primavera P6 can automatically find out which one is the longest path. So this one is the longest path, right? This. Okay. This is the critical path. We have multiple paths and we are giving option to Primavera P6. Now this is the critical path method. Now the second way, the longest path. This is CPM. When we are not giving any finish date to Primavera P6, we are only giving relationships, durations, and we are adjusting those relations and end date by our own way, the way I'm doing right now, right? That is defining critical path method. I'm saying it, this is also the longest path. And Primavera P6 is defining it in well way, right? It is not something wrong. But what is the difference now? If I'm going to define that this is my project should be finished by this date. So now every path which is actually meeting this date, something this path civil, okay, now 15th of September, this is mentioned in my enterprises under project must finish by the area I have explained, showed you just now in Primavera P6 project file area must finish by. So my civil works also meeting that date, my mechanical works also meeting crossing that date, my electrical works also meeting that date, my other works are also meeting that. So every path will be red line, critical path. So here, because all these paths are actually meeting this deadline. So by Primavera P6, it is default setting that they all will be labeled as critical path. So now what to do? What to do? This is another situation. So that time we have to implement longest path filter among these paths which are actually meeting are crossing this deadline, right? If some path is something, it's non-critical, but all the other paths which are crossing or meeting this deadline will be labeled as critical. So we have to implement that formula, that filter by option longest path. Among this, which one is the longest path? You will understand this one when you are going to practice it. Make 10 or 15 activities a separate project to understand this logic and give this time must finish by any date. Make logics, then you will find every other path is showing red color. Why it's happening over there? Because you have, at project level, you have implemented one constraint, big constraint. You understand? So these are the, right now we are working on this one. I know that we have to follow this one every time. But if we are assigning any project must finish by, then every path which is crossing or meeting this deadline will be labeled as. In job interviews they are going to ask you some kind of such kind of questions, so you should be very clear about that. You understand? Both ways are good, depend on your project situation. Okay. So now, other thing, what is the difference between working days and calendar days? Against WBS, you can, every time you can find calendar days. Against activity, you can every time find working days. What does mean by that? I will be showing you. If I will be giving you an example like this way, this is our calendar and we are just showing like this is 0, this is 10, 20, this is 30, 1 month. And my activities are something like this, this, and this. So, okay. So this is calendar days. In 30 calendar days, it is going to end up my this task. But somehow, if I'm going fast tracking and I'm going to, this activity is taking 5 days, 5 days, 10 days, and 10 days. You understand? I will write here 5, 5, 10, 10. Okay. Okay. Just 1 minute. Just make understand. Okay. So like this way. But now you have to understand. If I will make any fast tracking and I can show you that my these activities are going to work parallel, and logically this will move ahead as well, and these both activities are also going to lag. So this is going to change. This is end up on, you can see that 18th or something like that, right? My calendar days are reduced, but my working days are same. If I'm doing fast tracking or I'm doing overlapping, my working days and calendar days will never be equal to each other. Calendar days, working days. If I'm doing overlapping, see, I'm all in this second situation, I'm still working 5 days on it. I'm still working 5 days on this one. I'm still working 10 days. I'm still working on 10 days, but you can see this is overlapping and calendar days are reduced. I hope you can understand. And the same thing I will be showing you on Primavera P6 dashboard. It is very easy. It's very important to understand. Within activities, you can see that if I can, yeah, I will be sharing with you anything, something like that. Okay. So 52, 11, this against every WBS, this is the calendar days. From 20th of February, you are going to minus 11th of December. It's going to give you 52 days, respecting the calendar days, 5 days, 6 days, whatever you have defined, right? But if you are going to make something like, you can see that excavation, and this is also going to make start to start. See, it is going to change 34 because calendar days are going to reduce. But I did not touch anything over here. I just make start to start. This is very, kind of concept you need to understand when you are working on project scheduling. So these are the supporting concepts you need to understand. And I hope this self-paced session, you should make notes and share with me the important things. These are job interview oriented things. So I designed this self-paced so that on easy schedule, you should catch it, you should learn it, you should document it, and you should practice while compiling small projects like 10 activity based, and implement your troubleshooting, different kind of practice. If you are going to make any mistake, it is good for you. You are going to learn out of those mistakes. That's it. See you in my next session. Thank you very much.